أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of the Sensual Womb Whispers, the podcast by the House of Sacred Space. I'm your host, Rizana Shah Jahan. And, and this is the Rise to Ramadan series. If you haven't listened to the previous episodes, please go ahead and listen to them and also listen to the trance that I've done with regards to the opening of the energetic portals. That is important for you to listen to this episode because you you'll absorb it better. What I'm going to teach you here. So this is episode 5, and we're going to talk about food, drinks, and capitalism. It might sound like a controversial topic, but then it's something that we as secular females really need to understand. Food, drink, and capitalism. So, in preparing for this episode, I was having a discussion with my son while taking him to school, like hashing out my thought process. So, I was telling him, I was speaking about addiction, I was speaking about food, I was speaking about drinks and things like that. Now, if you took 100 years ago, the level of choices, the quantity of choices that we used to have then compared to what we have now is, oh my goodness, it was far limited then. It was hardly much, even though the quality of the stuff are good. I mean, we had good spices. We still do. We have good spices. We have good qualities, herbs and stuff like that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the food and drinks that are literally peddled to us on a daily basis. You see, the big companies, the big F&B companies have hired neuroscientists, and this is not new, by the way. This is not new. Even, I mean, Coca-Cola started the whole trend actually in the 1950s. Hired neuroscientists to create a product that is addictive, that will make the consumers repeat buy, and also the advertisements are so, I wouldn't say melodious, more so rhythmic and so enriched in pattern generation, that when we listen to the advertisements or when we see an advertisement or even see a logo or even see a portion of a logo, we know exactly what that company or what that product is. Like, for example, if I tell you mermaid, 90% would think of the Starbucks logo. It's a given because that's how much of indoctrination that has been happened, and will happen to us. Um, what else can we say? If you check all these brands, they've been created in such a way so that it stays in our memory, that we remember them. And it has been pushed to us on a repetitive basis so that it is coded in our sacred space. So how does this differ? How does the way it is, how is the way that the food and drinks are marketed to sacred females compared to sacred males? Very different. First of all, the way we process information is different. The way we process information is different. And for us, it's emotional. The way it's targeted to us is emotional. So if you take in the 1950s, this is after the World War II, there were companies were creating vacuum cleaners to ovens to washing machines to different kinds of consumer products or household products. So all targeted to women. They were targeted to women. So they were getting women to buy these things. So even though it's the man who's in the household making the income, and it's a man who is doing the work, they were targeted at women because it's the women who influence the purchasing. So it's over 50 years. It's been over 50 years that big pharma, uh, big food, big beverages have decided and understand that it is the women who influence the purchasing. So they need to convince the women. Now, this is where it started. And this is where the Coca-Cola commercial for creating the Santa Claus. If you all don't know about that, please go do your research. Um, where Coca-Cola literally created the figure Santa Claus to sell more drinks. And how was this, if you look at it, how was it packaged as a jolly old man, a friendly old man, coming to give gifts to the kids? I mean, how would a mother not want this for her child? Think about it. How would a mom not want such a thing for her children if she could get gifts for her kids? And so this was targeted for women because this was to convince women to buy more drinks and to convince their family to buy drinks. And women are more loyal. So the capitalistic system for food and beverages is that they target the loyalty of the women. That if women buy something, and also because see, we as women, we thrive in community. So if one mom or one woman buys something, or one woman gets something for herself and for her family, and if she likes it, she tells the rest of the friend group. She tells all her girls, and they go buy it. They convince their husbands to buy it. So do you see how capitalism has used women, used our sacred space codes to make them fat, to line their pockets? And we don't understand that. We don't see that. We can't clearly see it. Because why? Our sacred space is a pattern machine. It works on patterns. It works on repetition. And it already has patterns and codes stored in it. So when it is introduced to a new pattern or a new code, it absorbs it very fast and very quickly. So if you, it's like, let's not even go 50 years. Let's not even go 100 years. Let's go 20 years. 20 years ago, the we did not have, let's say coffee, we did not have so many coffee brands. We did not have so many coffee brands. Now we have millions and billions of coffee brands. Why? Because there's a demand for coffee. Yes, but still, which coffee brand is most popular? Of course, Starbucks. Until the boycott recently, Starbucks was always popular. And what was their most one popular beverage for women? The pumpkin spiced latte. That was their most popular seasonal beverage. I'm sure there are different ones as well, but then this is something which I've heard women rave about. Why? What is it about this latte that makes it better than another latte? Nothing. Nothing. There's no pumpkin essence as such. Maybe there may drip or two, and it's just spiced with an inch of cinnamon and some spices. But why? Why is it so addictive? Why? Because of the term pumpkin. We have a pattern in ourselves that pumpkins are wholesome, pumpkin are nutritious. And that's an ancient pattern within us. Like, we can come and tell me, no, it's not like that, it's not like this. But I'm not talking about currently. I'm talking about the womb patterns that's already coded. And mind you, these companies are not creating these food and beverages and not naming them, just picking a name out of their hats. No, no such a thing as that. They know exactly what they're doing, know exactly what kind of subconscious programming they're targeting. They know exactly what kind of womb codes they're targeting. So if you take Ramadan, what Ramadan does is it literally reprograms ourselves from these shackles that we willingly place ourselves into, willingly, unknowingly. Okay? But willingly, but we're like, oh yeah, let me try that. Oh yeah, let me do this. We're willing to participate, but we're shackled unknowingly. Even though we're willing to be shackled, but we didn't know we were being shackled. So when in Ramadan, when we're fasting, our body is being told food is overrated. Eating is overrated. And we are actually releasing ourselves from the chains of food and beverage. And food is a drug. And maybe let's be honest. Food is a drug. That's why many of us go into food coma. Why do we go into food coma? Because of the intensity of the not the weight, the what can I say? The depth, I can't say depth of food. It's not the weight of food, but it's the way our body takes such a long time to process this heavy food that it requires so much blood circulation to our stomach to get this done. That means it takes blood away from our brain. And the capitalist system needs you to be in a state of coma, and that is a requirement. Think about it. You have a so-called heavy. See, when I was growing up, the heavy meals that my mom used to cook used to be on Sundays, and that's because everybody had some time to nap. But other days, the food was not heavy, or we didn't eat that much because we had other things to do. But now we consume food, we consume beverages, and our brain automatically goes into a lull state. And that's a false safety state. I need you to understand that before we even go into food coma, let's say you drink something or you eat something and you feel good. And if you're not feeling good, or if you're feeling a bit low, or if you're not feeling like yourself, we're encouraged to eat. Oh, you don't feel so good because you didn't eat today. Oh, you feel sleepy because you didn't drink coffee. Or you don't you feel sluggish because um literally you didn't have some protein. So our mood is being linked to food. Walk with me. This will make sense to you. Our mood is linked to food. They're linking it to food. In the sense, when we feel sad or when we feel bad, let's have some chocolate, let's have some sugar, and then we'll feel good. but you don't understand what that chocolate or what that sugar is actually doing to your insides and to your brain. It lulls our brain because we are not processing hard emotions. Okay, we're not processing hard emotions. You're feeling sad, you're feeling agitated, you're feeling frustrated. Rather than addressing the root cause of it, we're just numbing it by consuming something sweet or we're consuming something heavy. So we're not doing any mental heavy lifting. We're not. And the capitalist system wants to keep us this way for two reasons. One, we are addicted to their food, their beverages. That means we keep going back to it, and the diminishing rewards, the incentives of diminishing rewards keeps increasing. What do I mean by diminishing rewards? Like first time you feel depressed and sad, you have a donut, you feel better instantly. Like, oh my God, I feel so good. I feel so much nicer. Or you feel a bit meh and you go have your pumpkin spice latte and you're like, oh, it just lifted my spirits. Okay, fine. It happens again. Your brain goes like, oh, because your brain has been communicated by your womb, which says like, oh, which has that pattern of, oh, we felt bad, we went and had a pumpkin spice latte, we felt better, let's go do it again. The second time you do it, second time you go buy you consume a pumpkin spice latte with all its sugar and its calories and dead calories, mind you. I mean, I'm not saying I don't drink such lattes, I do, but I'm explaining to you how we are brainwashed. Not the dead calories, you consume all of that. You don't feel good instantly. It takes some time. That is the diminishing reward system. It takes some time. And so the next time you feel, it'll maybe take more, might take you 30 minutes or 40 minutes longer than before. Then the third time that you feel like, I feel so meh, I feel so pissed. Oh yeah, I'll go for a pumpkin spice latte. But then your brain goes like, but then last time we had a small, and it didn't work for us. It didn't. Took a longer time. Let me try a medium this time. So you pay more for a medium. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? And then it hits different because it's more intense. The flavors are more intense. The taste is more intense. So you get a boom, massive dopamine hit instantly. And the fourth time you go, not the same dopamine. And then the next time you go for a larger one, and you keep increasing the frequency of that drink that you're buying to make yourself feel better. In the process, you are paying a lot more to fix how you feel without handling how you feel. So these companies, they need you to lull your brain. They need your brain to be lulled. If your brain is not lulled and you are able to process difficult and heavy emotions, you start forming an identity. You start forming self-awareness. You won't be able to be controlled. You won't be able to be controlled because you do not know the things that's being put in those things, in those drinks, in those food. So now you won't be. So if you do your heavy mental lifting, you will be uneffable. And if that happens, the whole capitalist system will collapse. It will simply collapse. So in Ramadan, we have to actually work on our emotions because we feel the first 10 days of Ramadan, unless, as I told you last time, unless we are training ourselves in Rajab and Sha'ban, we will feel crap. We will feel crap. It's a given. And we might want to run to a pumpkin spice latte. We might want to run to a muffin. We might want to run to a donut, but we can't because we're fasting. So we have to endure that feeling of mehness, that feeling of overwhelmed or a feeling of I can't handle this. Well, you literally have to do your mental heavy lifting. You're forced to do your mental heavy lifting. And at times, you might not be nice to be around. Your true self will come out then. You won't be nice to be around because you'll be cranky, you'll be annoyed, be frustrated because you don't like the way you're feeling. You don't like the way you're feeling because you didn't process it prior to Ramadan. You just lulled it, you just numbed it. And you come to a state, when you come to a portal like Ramadan, where there's no running away. There is absolutely no running away. You have to face your emotions. You have to face your feelings. You have to do the mental heavy lifting. But then, but then, this is why capitalism has promoted Islamophobia. Because one 30 days out of a year, we have to discipline ourselves. The shackles that are around our hands and legs, created by big food and big beverage, is being cracked, is literally being cracked. And they can't have that, which means they lose dominance. They lose dominance, they lose dollars. They lose dollars, they lose market share, they lose the lining of their pockets. And who are they targeting? They're not targeting the seeker males. 90% of the seeker males are just ordering a basic black coffee or a cappuccino. That's it. Some basic thing. But the but for the seeker female, she's the one who's targeted with a what is that drink? Is soy milk latte with 1 pump vanilla, 1 pump caramel, low fat whipped cream, and something else. I heard a female say that they had. I was like, that is a that is a coffee or a full meal. Can you understand that even a coffee order has becomes complex and luxurious and made it into a social status, and we as second females we are sucked into it. I'm serious. I'm not joking. This is how it is. It's not only for drinks. It's not only for food. Even when it comes to spiritual clothing, even when it comes to hijab, Um, like I was saying, it's not only about food and beverages, it's also about hijabs and um, spiritual accessories. And as we're speaking about rising into Ramadan, this is something that we need to take into consideration. How everything is capitalized. Everything is into capitalism. So think about it. So even hijabs, a particular brand is created, a particular hype is created, and we push a narrative, and as secular females, we actually adopt it. And it becomes a sense of elitism. Let's go back to food and beverages. The pricing of food and pricing of beverages is done to create disparity among people. And it is a status symbol. For example, somebody who goes for lunch at the Burj Khalifa is considered to be a high status, a high value person who's successful. Whereas somebody who went to a normal cafe, I mean a normal street cafe to have lunch. But the reason that the food and beverages industry has been placed so much emphasis on pricing, so much emphasis on the quality, and they create this ambience. One is to keep those who feel not worthy out. Two, to create disparity and to create a sense of elitism. And this is how they can thrive. Capitalism can thrive in the process of divide and conquer. If they divide, they're able to conquer. They don't divide, they can't conquer because you're not willing to pay a higher premium for something which you could get for a lower cost. This is what women don't understand. And we as secular females, we do have this snobbery within us. Let us be blatant about it. We do have this, the way we as secular females, the way we dismiss another secular female is so subtle. It cannot be understood by secular males, but it cuts deep because we do have that evil, like that jealous nature within ourselves. And that's our nature. And that is a programming, a pattern from our sacred womb. And that is why in Ramadan, that is being cleansed for us. That nature, that inner um, superiority gets cleansed because we are humbled. We're humbled by depriving ourselves of these different things. And it does alter our neurology. Because see, I've seen this when somebody goes, and you might disagree with me, but you haven't understood human nature properly in that case. Somebody goes to a more expensive outlet and goes buy something, and they are quite happy with it. They're quite happy. They're quite proud of it. They're like, you know what, I got this. And they might some people do go buy luxury brands and nobody even knows that they have it. Some people behave and dress like they're not like wealthy, but some people do show off, and they show off because there's something insecure within themselves, that they're not confident within themselves, so they have to prove something. And these marketers, these big food and beverage companies, they exploit this insecurity. That's why they create this false hierarchy, a false hierarchy system of elitism. And you can see some women like, oh, I only drink Starbucks. That's all I drink. Oh, I only go to this expensive cafe. And Okay, amazing. I'm so glad you are. And I would love to do that as well. I would love to go to I would love to have a good cup of joe. It'd be amazing for me as well. But is my value worth um stability, success? Is it depending on me consuming an expensive cup of coffee? Think about it. Then you almost say, no, it doesn't. It does. It does, but not in the way you all think. First of all, if it's a really good quality coffee, that means that will help your body in a different way. But if it's just an overpriced coffee, you're just paying for the brand, for the logo, for the status symbol. That's what you're paying for. You're not paying for any upgrading or up-leveling. That means you haven't built your inner structure in a solid foundation for you to be value and worthy for you. This is what in Ramadan, this is stripped away from us. We're humbled. We go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We place our forehead on the ground crying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're brought to our knees. Nothing external, nothing physical, nothing material matters. It actually reduces in matter for us during Ramadan. This is why they created Islamophobia, because they lose power. They lose power, absolute power. And this elitism, this superiority, it's not even complex, a superiority feeling, this status signaling. What happens to a sacred womb? Tell me. First of all, we're consuming chemicals and poisons in many times, and we're paying a price for it. We're consuming chemicals and we're consuming poisonous elements, and we're absorbing it into a sacred womb, which will affect our hormones, which will affect the way uh, our body processes information. It will affect our magnetism. Absolutely no doubt about it. There's absolutely no doubt about that. It will affect our magnetism, that it will affect the way we process information, and it affects the way we pull in the timeline we want. That's one. Two, arrogance. That even though we are not consciously arrogant, we are. The sense of elitism, sense of superiority creates arrogance with us, and that depletes our energetic field. Arrogance is the opposite of gratitude. So in Ramadan, we are told we we feel grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because we're not injecting ourselves with these things which are altering our neurology. Do you get what I'm saying? So that these food and beverage companies, they know what they're doing. They're not clueless, and they're targeting women because of our sense of wanting to be unique, a sense of wanting to be different, a sense of wanting to be individualistic, and all of this because it comes from our childhood. Because many of us have really traumatizing childhood, that when we were children, as girls, we were told, oh, you don't have a right to talk. Oh, you don't have a right to say things. Oh, nobody wants to listen to a girl. So when we grow up and we start making money, we start magnetizing money, we start living our life, we're like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna go live, I'm gonna eat the way I want to, and I don't care about the rest. I'm gonna have a high lifestyle. I'm gonna have a rich lifestyle, even if I can afford it or not. And food and beverages are used as status signaling. Oh, oh, you go to that restaurant at the Atlantis. Oh, wow. I mean, oh, you know that place. That means you're socially aware. I'm sorry, darling. I don't know half the restaurants in Atlantis. I'm being very open. And people tell me, oh, I went to this restaurant, I went to that restaurant. I'm like, where is that? Oh, it's at Atlantis, it's at the Palm. Like, you wouldn't know. I wouldn't. No interested. But that's not for me to say. If I don't get an opportunity to go, I will go. Definitely, I will. Definitely, I will. I am not like snubbing anybody else. I would definitely go. I would love to go. I would love to experience it. I'm not saying I don't want to, but that's not my priority at the moment. Simple fact. So, a neurology is hijacked. A womb space is hijacked so that they can make money. And another most important way that food and beverage companies thrive by exploiting us is all of this is attention. All of this is about our attention. How much we give our attention to these things. And you may not know this, you may not see it, but all these brands, these logos, do a little test. Fast. Take a day, fast in Shaban. Um, After midday, go to a mall, look at the brands. Just observe the logos of the brand and see how your body reacts. Okay? Document mentally how your body reacts. And then 2 days later, when you're not fasting, go to the mall and observe the same brands and see how your body reacts. There will be a difference. I guarantee there's a difference. Because all of these brands, all of these logos are energetic absorbers. They absorb your womb space energy. You like to admit it or not? That's the truth. You see the difference when you're fasting and when you're not fasting. So these food and beverage companies, they don't spend millions and billions and trillions in perfecting their logos to the tiniest inch. It's frequency, my darling. It's frequency. Absolute. The precision, the curve of each letter, the precision of the letter, the precision of the lines on their logo is placed there after deliberate research and study. That is why women are so pulled to brands and brand names compared to men. Because these brands and brand names are being created to resonate with our sacred womb space. I don't want to talk more about that. I'll speak, inshallah, in the future. I'll speak more about these different things in different series. But I want you to see that your womb space is exploited by big food and big beverage, and you don't even know how. But if you're aware, you will see the difference while you're fasting in Ramadan. It will show up. It will show up. So with that, I'm going to end this episode. Think about it. As we move on in this series, I will be speaking about your sacred womb, the way your womb prepares for Ramadan. I think that'll be the next episode, the preparation of the womb for Ramadan, how the womb herself prepares when Rajab started and in Shaban, and when 15th of Shaban comes, which is in a couple of days for us. Don't walk on this earth blind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with eyes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with intellect. Don't walk on this earth blind. And don't be fooled. All these things don't have your best interest at heart. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who wants the best for you, who wants the greatest ease for you. Don't fall for this. As we prepare for Ramadan, think about you. Think about yourself. Think about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you. And think about how you lived all of these months being exploited energetically. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.